I just did it.
Okay, I see it's recording. Wonderful. Okay, wonderful. Okay, today, welcome. What day is it today? Today is Saturday the 21st, my favorite number, my college number in basketball. It's going to be a wonderful day. It's beautiful out in the sunny Vancouver, Pacific Northwest. My name is Russ Field, and I have a very special call that everybody's been invited to today. And today we have Crypto Z, and what he's going to do is he's going to be going through the future potential price adjustments of Bitcoin, ergo the cryptocurrency market, as we go into the halving in May of 2020. He's going to give you the proper title. I just made that one up. But we are recording this, and this is something that you definitely want to A, listen to, B, take notes, and C, once the recording comes out into your back office in your community tool chest, you're going to want to share this with as many people as you possibly can. So with that, and without further ado, what I'm going to do is introduce Mr. Crypto Z to the team. Crypto Z, take it away.
Thank you, Russ, and welcome everybody. Good morning or good day, good evening, wherever you are. It's really an exciting day, and thank you very much for the feedbacks. The last couple of days we got what basically happened on Monday. I shared my thoughts about the potential kind of outcomes of Bitcoin and so forth. And what we realized ourselves, I mean, administrators, that it would be good to have a presentation where the entire company, the members, can have a better understanding about the major kind of strategy or what's behind our strategy as far as Bitcoin and the blockchain goes. And I thought that, hey, this is my roadmap anyway, so why can't I kind of share this roadmap with everybody and being prepared for the future? So let's see how it kind of pans out. It will be about half an hour, and I will be more than happy to answer any kind of questions after that. I appreciate this. Today is Saturday, so time is very precious, and let's get going. So Bitcoin's roadmap to 2020 and beyond. And you will understand why I have chosen 2020 a bit later on, but I will be kind of covering a few elements of the psychology of the market and the big picture so that you can really see the forest from the trees, because psychology is, to me, basically everything or almost everything in the market. And by knowing that and being able to follow those cycles and those patterns that these cycles create, helped me tremendously to understand the next potential moves, so to speak. It's like a big chess game in the market. It's an intellectual chess game, and I'm going into more details in our courses in the back office. You can refer that, but in order to really appreciate those achievements and your own progress, I hope it will give you tons of value for your own personal development and being just a better Bitcoin enthusiast or advocate. We have seen the agony of the fiat currencies, the evolution of internet, as would money, as Robin would say, and we have seen his really excellent presentations about the evolution of money, which is here. So we have to be aware of that. And what's happened, with the advent of Bitcoin and blockchain, since the very beginning until today, that the awareness of Bitcoin and blockchain has become more and more transparent, especially thanks to the last year's mega bull run up until today. Let's put it that way. So until today, it was the biggest bull run. And no question about that. Once Bitcoin reached $10,000. And I remember it took basically, guys, 1 week last year to double from 10,000 to almost $20,000. So it was an incredible run, and probably that's where certain bigger players said to themselves, hey, just stop down a little bit, slow down a little bit, because we are out of, this mega train. So they had to kind of tame Bitcoin further progress at the very end of 2017. And what we have been seeing is the result of that. So the correction of that until today from this mega bull run, but clearly remembering that 1 year ago, it was far from $6,000 or $7,000, and we would be just extremely happy to have that by the end of 2017. But everything exceeded. I mean, our expectations were nowhere near what Bitcoin could produce. I will be covering the halving process of Bitcoin. You might not be aware of that, and that is a major reason for me to becoming a crypto investor, trader, enthusiast opposed to the Forex. Because here you can see later on how mathematically you can see the progress and the potential growth, and basically that roadmap. It is available for all of us. So it's a public domain, just you may not know that. That's why I'm trying to come and help you out, to guide you, to be in the know. And as I anticipate, the price appreciation will be extremely positive in 2019. Just let's put it that way for now. Why? And you can see now the other kind of bullet points here. The big institutional money will come to the picture. And in order to do that, new regulation and new framework will be established this year and beyond. Real-time use cases, what we need, regular people, we have to see and touch the merchandise, meaning the cryptocurrency, not just seeing very kind of intimidating numbers out there and not knowing where to send those money. And once we see that, once we get more and more comfortable with the usage of cryptocurrencies, the mass adoption will be unstoppable. So these are basically, in my eyes, and I'm emphasizing, these are my thoughts, and I'm not pretending definitely that I'm in the know of everything, far from it. I'm trying to synthesize all those information out there, whatever people are kind of predicting or why they are predicting. And I'm trying to be really a down-to-earth person, where what I'm doing is, by collecting these information, I'm trying to increase the odds in my favor. And that's what I'm suggesting to every one of you. By doing your own research, by following certain leads, or if you are reading and communicating with the Bitcoin community or blockchain community, don't take everything just kind of granted. Try to digest it, collect it. And really, there are so many FUDs, fake news or this news or that news out there. And the more you can kind of stick to factual and actual information, data, the probability will be better on your side. So that's, as a trader, I can do. And the roller coaster, the emotions, and we are dedicating different kind of lessons and parts in our course to the emotions, how to overcome emotions, how to be prepared. But this is a really funny, and nice, but reflecting exactly what we have been going through in any market, by the way, not just the crypto market. So if you have any experience in the stock market, equities, bonds, forex, you name it, probably you can recognize these elements from the optimism, the euphoria, the bye-bye, the anxiety. And here is the 2 points I would like to emphasize. One is, successful investors recognize that where the maximum financial risk on the top, and that's why certain charts and certain visuals will help us. And the previous performances of these asset classes will help us to track the probable highs of the euphoria, and that represents the maximum financial risk. Case in point, if you bought Bitcoin in December, now you know that you bought at that time at the highest level. As I said earlier, the fact that Bitcoin doubled in 1 week from 10,000 to almost 20,000, it was an absolutely irrational FOMO, emotional buying. People just don't want to miss out. And they went to the extreme by loaning and finding any kind of assets just to buy Bitcoin. Now when the reality kicks in, the fear, the desperation, what should I do when it's not going up higher? So now the panicking, since you are not prepared enough emotionally to offset the natural correction on any asset classes, but we are talking about Bitcoin now. Then you start kind of questioning, doubting certain things, and basically what's happening with the unprepared and uneducated investors, they start selling it, panic selling it, and driving down the prices, where the smart money comes in and start buying that asset class. And it happened quite a number of times in Bitcoin. And that is the market down that sell everything I want all out, where the successful and the smart investors kind of coming in and start accumulating that asset. In my eyes, Bitcoin is very close to that. And it may go down maybe a few $1,000s, but in a bigger scheme, we are very close to this area. The market is down, and the accumulation phase will kick in. Here is in a psychology market cycle chart, and that may reflect even much better what you have seen or what you do have in any other kind of charting services. You can use this chart as your mother of the chart. This helped me a lot to understand the human beings, patterns and behavior. Trading and investing, probably, again, I don't know how to measure it, by the way, but 80 to 90% or 95 or 85, it doesn't really matter. The most of it, the lion's share of our own human behavior reaction is emotional. No question about it. Just if you go with your better half, just to do shopping, how much time we have been spending, to select a pair of shoes, whether it is red or yellow or the size or the model is not. And what actually you are not really seeing, the price. Yeah, you may see the price, but once, and if it's a good salesperson telling you that, oh, this looks good on you, that emotional factor just kicks in, and you are making that purchase, based on your emotions rather just on your budget. And sometimes, it can be very detrimental if you don't have enough budget to make other purchases. the bottom line is, this is the mother of every chart, and it's happening in every cryptocurrencies, in every asset classes, whether it is gold, NASDAQ, you name it. This is your main GPS. So kindly spend some time on it and try to understand the different stages of these psychological, levels. Where we can be, I will show you a bit later on. We can discuss it, and other people, may say, yeah, we are still in a denial, a panic, or anger, or depression, disbelief. The bottom line is, it's a cycle, just in another level. So from here, or from where, rather, Bitcoin started, from a few cents, then from a few dollars, and then hundreds of dollars, and then it reached $1,200 and went back. So 100 times Bitcoin was already announced dead. And it's right now, it's 7,400 or something like that today, US, which is now $1 million in Canadian, so to speak. Just kidding. But as we go, it looks like that. From there, here is now an interesting kind of comparison for you. Even if you don't know how to read charts, I just want to leave you that kind of visual, impression on you. On the left-hand side, what you can see, how Bitcoin, behaved as a bear market, in 2014. You can see how it went up, and it reached the $1,200 pretty quickly in 2014. And then, since it was an irrational and the hyped, so the FOMO element kicked in, the asset class in terms, of the psychology market had to retrace and to take a breather. So the visuals, the greens is this buyers, the red candlesticks, those are the sellers. But what I would like to leave with you today is focusing on the right-hand side, which is today, basically. That is where we are right now, the 2018. Isn't that eerily kind of the same? Just the scale will be totally different when it starts going up. So I don't have a crystal ball, again, and none of us has it. And if somebody tells you that, hey, I have the crystal ball, Bitcoin should be 40,000, 50,000, or whatever thousands. My question is now, okay, I listen, just based on what? Tell me one reason why. Or if you have more reasons, that would be even better. Because as an educated and intelligent person, you should always ask. Asking is the best way, of communicating with someone. Don't believe something just because somebody told you. It's how many times we got that. Coming back to these charts. Right now is July 1st. Obviously, the line, what you can see is just a straight line up. I'm not saying it will be mimicking, the 2014 to the ladder. And it may come down even to the, let's say, the 5,000 area. To me, and with all due respect, I also appreciate every penny. But in a bigger scheme, it doesn't really matter whether it is starting from 5,000 or 6,000. Again, I mean the other bull run. What we do know that in the past, the probability was very strong that Bitcoin reached an other level and a much higher price level. Now, how to calculate that and how to work around it, what to really anticipate once you have this kind of empty roadmap here. And you see it's going to 2019 and beyond. Just one sec. Here is a chart. I think I didn't have this one on Monday, but I thought it's certainly very useful because it does have, you know, exact dates, years, the number of Bitcoins, and the prices, everything together. I found it absolutely fascinating, and the accuracy as well. What we do know with this superb new trustless technology, opposed to any fiat currencies that are printed and they are not backed up really by anything, just by printing machines or the US Army or the Chinese Army or whatever the case may be. Case in point, in the case of the fiat currencies, you do not have a base, I mean a foundation, which you can offer you mathematics and logarithmics and combinations and trust and factors that, hey, those currencies are just printing from thin air. Bitcoins, opposed to that, was created from the get-go with this logical sequence that every 10 minutes, certain amount of Bitcoins are created. We do know that because the creator of Bitcoin did that in his or her white paper. And we have it in our course, so the 9-page white paper, I always refer to that just to understand Bitcoin's mechanism. But even without knowing the nitty-gritties of that, what we can see from this chart on the horizontal sky line, and you can see on the right corner, I tried to really get the most recent ones. This is June 18th, so this year's 2018. And what's happening based on following the Bitcoin mechanism, that in not just every 10 minutes, that's a thing when a new block is creating, that every 4 years, the number of Bitcoins gets halved. So as you can see from the left corner, when we started basically Bitcoins, every 10 minutes, 50 new Bitcoin were created, then 25, then 12 and a half, and then will be 6 1/4. So what does that tell you? So again, it's a public domain. And the very essence of any economy is supply and demand. If supply, and we do know that again from the get-go, that the supply of Bitcoin is limited, is already predefined, 21 million, okay? It doesn't get any more than 21 million. Now you do know that even every 10 minutes, how many, will be created. You will see that, and you will be in the know. And now from today on, I hope you are in the know how many Bitcoins and how the supply of Bitcoin will be generated. The halving line, that dotted green line, just taking account as a chart, because the yellowish or brownish lines are the graphs how Bitcoin fluctuated between those kind of barriers. But focus on that dotted line, and that dotted line is the historic kind of support of Bitcoin. I myself am just kind of amazed how accurately, it followed that, or how many times and by how much, exceeded that. So this is basically the roadmap for the Bitcoin going up, following their own mechanism by halving that and creating less and less Bitcoins and shrinking the supply more and more. What do we know from economy classes or anything like that? If supply is limited and the demand is high, The price has no one else to go but up. This is just the law of supply demand. And you don't have to be an economist or don't have to be any kind of smart guy. Just when you go to a market and you want to buy, just let's say, some grapes or cherries these days, you know, this is a nice weather and summertime. But for any other reason, maybe the weather was just not right and you don't have enough cherry, then there is not enough supply of cherries, but the demand is the same as was, you know, last year or even more. So the cherries price will go up. Again, that's just the nature of the supply demand. My case in point here is that we are in the middle of halving. When it was the last time, it was July the 9th on 2016. What we did see that it was already, you know, a public awareness or quite an aggressive public awareness last year. After that, now we do have a cooling period. But what the miners, because Bitcoin is created by miners, again, without any further details how it is created, just leave it at that. Miners are creating it. So it's not, you know, the Fed who is printing the money. It is a mathematical formula and a very, very interesting way of creating cryptocurrencies. But the bottom line is that the miners will be more and more interested and, you know, motivated to get higher prices because, you know, less and less, you know, Bitcoin will be created. Hope you get the point from here. But let's see it in another context. Here is the Bitcoin transactions per second. You may have not seen this before, but it tells me a lot, and it told me last year a lot. And it has to tell you again for the future. What's happened last year, and we do remember with Russ, I remember when we kind of bought and sold certain, you know, Bitcoins and Ethereums and some altcoins. What we did see an incredible jump from the altcoins. I don't want to kind of speak too much about altcoins, but we should be aware of those altcoins as well, because Bitcoin has dominated the entire crypto world and crypto land since inception, which is great. It did its part. But now the market is kind of balancing or rebalancing, and the previous combined altcoin market cap started to grow exponentially as well. And from the 85% Bitcoin dominance went down to 55, and today is around 40 plus. So the entire market has becoming just healthier, because if something goes badly wrong or could go wrong with Bitcoin, there are some other cryptocurrencies out there that will be taking the torch and going forward, representing the new level of blockchain. If there will be something new one, what we have known, the innovation is just unlimited, and the imagination of the human being is unlimited. So we will be definitely more creative in the years to come. Case in point, here you have a more balanced kind of market sentiment, and we do have it by transactions per second. So it is a great way to follow and track Bitcoin dominance. So if you have some kind of spare time and you would like to spend more on this, here is a way of doing that. Now, this is probably a more kind of down to earth, I mean, comparison gold with Bitcoin. And as if you remember, the mother of the charts, the psychology of the charts. Can you see some resemblance, how it looked or how that looked? So where can we today? Right now, Bitcoin, in my view, is the very last kind of stages of the previous bull runs, kind of last kind of weeks or months. So what we have found out that the electronic trading funds and exchanges are waiting on the side as they did for gold a few years ago. In order to get more money and new money in Bitcoin, they need the regulations, the new framework. But what we can kind of gather here, and it might not be that accurate. Again, I mean, the percentages wise and how, time wise, what it struck me, again, the scope and the behavior, how gold reacted. And gold, by the way, has been also stabilizing at a much higher level than it was in 1980. So just bear in mind. What I also kind of observed here, that time-wise, Bitcoin is at least 5 times faster than anything out there. So the months ahead of us, the months to come and years to come, will be more significant, more radical than any other asset classes before. So gold, case in point, basically went to the moon. That's what everyone wants for Bitcoin as well. So went to the moon. Here is the potential. It went up. I mean, gold went up 300%. So now these days, when central banks and commercial banks paying basically nothing to you, even if they started now increasing, and everybody's just freaking out. Now, inflation is so high. I just got a laughing stock, compared to the potential what the cryptos can do for you. 2%, 3%, 5% a year type of things. Bitcoin can do it in a second. But again, the risk and the volatility is there. So we got to be careful how to manage it. But I like to go into a business. Just again, it's my personal opinion. I like to go into a business where I do see and sense the potential. The bigger the potential, the better the environment, at least for me. There are people who are not comfortable with that, but then don't get back and kind of cry that, yeah, you missed the train. You have to be right now and at this time, just being prepared, getting that education, whatever resources you can have. You can listen to any other gurus out there and subscribing different, newsletters. Nothing wrong with that. Just make your own decisions. My approach, and that's what we agreed with the administrators within Crypto Cash Nation. We would like you to be in the know as far as the big picture goes, so that none of you can miss out the biggest wealth of transfer in the years to come. We can go into details later on, how to ride these trends. That's why we have certain courses, how to build up, a portfolio. In other words, how to ride these trends, how to navigate this roadmap ahead of us. That's where I think a community like Crypto Cash Nation can make a little difference. And certainly not every one of you will follow that and will be part of that. But at least from our side, I 101% convinced that we are offering you real value. And then we can discuss it further on, how to reach that goal. If it's not 300%, just only 200, so what? Or if it's 3,000%, now it's another thing. But we got to be really trained and be prepared for that. Now here is the basically my ultimate roadmap towards May 2020. So less than 2 years. What you can see here is, it's absolutely kind of up to date. How it reflects the reality, time will tell. But at least I have something. You know, this is my roadmap. This is my story. And we discussed that my business partners are really very experienced and very smart persons who have been preaching also one thing in business. You got to have a plan, you know, even if the plan is not that kosher. Who would tell? But at least you have that, and you have the flexibility to adjust it if it's needed. But let's be prepared, and let's have some sort of plan in your hand, and to be prepared what's coming. So what's coming after the bear trap, as we call technicians? Because myself, I'm a hybrid trader, more kind of fundamental, but I love charts, and I thoroughly learned the technical indicators in order to what to do? Reinforce my assumptions. So helping visually to reinforce this. So from the previous years, compared what Bitcoin did, even with the 20,000 high, it looks like, you know, just a little dwarf, a little minion, you know, compared to what it is coming, or what probably, you know, what probably is coming in the next less than 2 years. And the reasonings, I think, speak volume, because in order to reach that, institutional investors must kind of come to the party. And we do have, and kindly, if you have pen and paper handy, just write down the date. It might change later on. I already read kind of conflicting reports, but so far I stick to August the 10th. August the 10th, so basically 3 weeks from now, or something like that. When the SEC in the United States, so the Security Commission, will make a decision whether to approve the ETFs or not. As previously we did see in the, let me go back just one more time to here. You see the gold. When gold was introduced, how it reacted. So in order to approve gold, you know, the different US regulatory bodies had to make that decision and approve it. Once it got approved, tons of money, literally, or tons of gold went into those ETF forms. And is it now, I'm just asking nicely, is it that inconceivable or conceivable to expect that Bitcoin will kind of mimic gold? I leave the answer to you. You can see my answer. I do anticipate that. And with that, we are here. You can see that in the very bottom, we are at the awareness phase. So once this regulatory approval happens, the confidence, the trust will be enormous, and that will be coupled with media attention, big time. And I'm not talking about now the World War scenarios, or you know what now Trump is doing with Putin or whatever it is. Uncertainty is not good for the traditional asset classes. However, if something is uncertain, gold, Swiss franc, Japanese yen, and now the new digital gold called Bitcoin, probably, again emphasizing it, probably will get a boost, because there will be no one else or nothing else to put your kind of reserve money. So the media attention, the enthusiasm, the greed factor, so the public and the mania phase probably will get a major boost, and it will likely to propel Bitcoin above hundreds and thousands of dollars. More likely, again, the measurement is around the 200 and plus $1,000. It's really hard to say. But I already asked myself, does it really matter? Come on, today is $6,000 or $7,000. I'm here for the long run. And I don't know how you do, your finances, but this is basically a potential. And again, I'm emphasizing a potential pension plan for me. This is the pension plan. I'm a dual citizen, but I bet you nor the Hungarian government or the Canadian government can give me enough, as a pension, because they can't. And demographics is just against them all around, the global demographics problem. And I'm 59 years old. So as a kind of personal story, yeah, I hope I have a few years to run around, being long enough, to enjoy. And this is certainly something that I can latch on. I might be completely wrong. I'm not saying that. But that it does a lot more sense to me than anything else out there. Because it's, again, based on numbers, based on technology, based on the perception of money, the evolution of the new money, which is coming unstoppably. And I'd rather be part of that than against it. So that's just kind of common sense. And now this is, let me just stop here for now. This is up to 2020, so the next halving is in May 2020. What we do know, again, based on the previous human being patterns, that the leading months, the leading time until it really halves, it's like buy the rumor, sell the news mentality. That's why I would like you to be prepared for that and taking, the most of it. A trader cannot really trade like, from the bottom to the very top and take every profit of it. It doesn't really real. You may have certain lucky periods, but it's not realistic. Let's put it that way. But here you have an enormous potential. So if you can ride this trend and just having certain risk capital, so money you can afford to lose or risk in that case, having that on the side and riding these trends, maybe you are cashing out at 180,000. Would anybody, blame you? No. How hell no? Because even if it goes, up 200,000 and then just retracing. We have and will be dedicated, courses where I'm trying to, again, sharing those kind of thoughts, how you can ride such a trend. Because it's never, just kind of one stop, really holding everything until that. You have to stage it. You have to use dollar cost averaging or certain other money management, techniques coupled with mathematical formulas, which are not that difficult because it's already built in the best charts and in the best kind of trading services, like the Fibonacci levels and so forth. But without any kind of dry details, there are ways to manage your money, and you don't need anybody else out there to do that for you. You can do that yourself. And where Crypto Cash Nation can help, we are here for you, just providing, sharing, and offering those kind of tools, resources for you. Now let's go further because our time is running out. Here is a link for the futures. And I looked at, I would like you to go and click on that link later on, today or tomorrow, where you can compare you know, the futures with the ETFs. And here, just one thing I would like to leave it with you today. The futures market, in the futures market, the Bitcoin futures market, you do not own Bitcoin. Pure and simple. It is there on the table. In the ETFs, you do own that asset. How? By owning the private key. So by owning the private key. I'm not sure whether you are aware with that terminology, and I appreciate if not every one of you today, you know, understand what's a private key. That's why we encourage, you know, just take, you know, the free courses with the Crypto Cash Nation. You will understand what a private key is. But the bottom line is the ETFs, what we do expect, will offer ownership, and that create trust and more confidence later on, and especially for pension funds, hedge funds, so mega players. Now imagine that. I mean, definitely they wouldn't go into this if they cannot own that. Conclusion. Follow the smart money, the ETFs. And here is one more element. The ETFs are targeting Bitcoin. So they want Bitcoin within their kind of portfolio more than anything else. Follow and focus on the market capitalization of Bitcoin. In order to reach those mega numbers, the hundreds of thousands of dollars by price, the market capitalization of Bitcoin will be in the trillions. Today is less than $200 billion. In a mega scheme, those are really just peanuts. We do have tens of trillions of dollars in different asset classes. So, and I refer to Robbins or others kind of presentations or your own resources where you can see in the infographics how much money is floating, you know, in the world. Those are 80, 90 trillions of dollars, and the trillion is 12 zero after the one. So it's just a mega number. So we are gonna scratching the surface with these few hundred billion total, the entire crypto land. So again, the potential is enormous. My other kind of recommendation here is Ethereum and the buy Ethereum, the platform tokens, where we can see the daily usage, the real-time use cases of the cryptocurrencies, and they will work out quite nicely. Dash and Litecoin, I see as potential global daily payment gateway system. People need to understand and use these cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin on its own, more like a store of value, a digital gold than a unit of payment. So bear in mind, that's none of the other ones except Bitcoin, in my view, will have it. Never say never, but it looks like, again, with the Bitcoin brand recognition, with the Bitcoin community support, none of those can have this type of, you know, attributes. They will be like more, you know, just as a daily payment system. Needless to say that we are not financial advisors, and we are not here to give you professional, you know, any type of kind of advice. Now, what can we do here? Again, and you can go, by the way, to any bank, and you will be surprised how kind of hatefully they will react to your questions. And no wonder why, you know, for example, in the United States, Wells Fargo or other banks, you know, they just kind of frozen your accounts, and they don't want you to be around cryptocurrencies. It's a fight, but it's a fight worth doing it. We're doing it together because we are standing really up for something where the unbanked people can have finally a say and the means, to deal, communicate, and do transactions, and just to make their own life better and more affordable. With all that, I would like to leave just one thing again. I'm very, very proud that we are doing this, and we have been doing this now for a while. Crypto Cash Nation has been playing, I believe, a pioneer role in the mass education and the mass adoption of cryptocurrencies. And I salute you and all of you. Welcome here to be part of this incredible journey and creating legacy together. Thank you very much for your time and patience, and I'm here to answer any kind of questions. Russ, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Crypto Z. That was awesome. That was fantastic. And if you guys have any questions, let me just take a look at this. You guys can come on in and unmute yourself and ask questions. And remember, Crypto Z doesn't have a crystal ball, and he can't work with everybody one-on-one, and he can't, take every little thing that, comes in the marketplace from whether it's our leadership or people who are, introduced to Crypto Z throughout time as we grow. Crypto Z is a resource for us, guys. A very, very important part of the company or the co-op, and a resource that we have to protect, and we have to protect his time. So I just wanted to say that in here, because I know how it is being the, a hub of information, and how, in home-based businesses, everybody tries to, cordon off their little piece of time with that hub of information. And that's just something that's, it's an impossibility. And that's one of the reasons why in the $49 premium course, we have the Slack room, because the Slack room is there to be able to, from a community point of view, for us to be able to get together and have the opportunity to, be able to go back and forth with Crypto Z and his team as it grows. But with respect to that, certainly unmute yourself if you have a question, and he'll do his best efforts to be able to answer them.
This is Mark, and I have a couple of questions for you, Crypto Z. First of all, I'd like to thank you for the information that you provide us with. And a lot of it is, at least from what I study and look at, is so on the money that maybe you might kind of want to teach the gurus something, because a lot of times they're the ones that kind of lead us astray. So maybe they need to get into your class. But with that being said, my concern is this, and you can also correct me, and I won't be offended, because we all are here to learn. Now, in this financial sphere, my concern is that in regard to, now we know that the SEC decided that digital currencies would not be declared a security, which I was glad to hear. But my concern is this: in regard to the paper, for example, in the precious metals market, paper is used to manipulate the market. Therefore, it can suppress the metals. And my concern is, how do you see it as far as the cryptocurrencies? Anything suppressing that or manipulating that, like the precious metals markets are with paper?
Well, let me tell you, I don't know, and
Okay.
that's the honest answer. What I have seen in my life, that everything is manipulated. So what we can do, again, if we are not, the decision makers, we again we can work around. But look, you know, the just even on paper money is manipulated big time. So we don't need to go back to 2008, what happened, you know, with the subprime mortgages and so forth. With the gold, you know, here is the thing. We do know, again, that's coming back to basics in Bitcoin, that we do know that there cannot be more than 21 million. Do we know how much gold we have? We have a kind of estimation, but you know, people can still mine, by the way, using the same word, but mining in a traditional way or discovering some other kind of gold stuff back and forth, or they can create these type of things. But how can you manipulate, you know, Bitcoin supply? Tell me, Mark. So that's my kind of best answers to all of them. Yes, you can manipulate the surroundings, the environment around Bitcoin, but not the supply, because that supply is limited. And that was a crucial point. Again, I emphasize a crucial point for me to become a Bitcoinist or a blockchain fan, because I see just less manipulation in here than in anywhere else. The fact that, you know, certain governments want, you know, ban Bitcoin, those people who believe that, they don't know what, you know, Bitcoin is, what blockchain is. You can't ban something which is borderless, by the way, and not even China or the USA or any other government can do. They realize that they're scared to death because the crypto revolution is threatening their very existence, their power. How we can, and how I see this, I mean, a more realistic way. Okay, I sense that we will be witnessing a transitional, you know, a transitional kind of process in the years to come. In other words, fiat currencies and other asset classes will be performing as they do today, but more and more cryptocurrencies will be taken over and biting the market cap from the overall global market. How long will it take? It's really hard to estimate, but it's certainly in our lifetime, or I hope in my lifetime as well. And again, I did some comparison how fast, you know, certain technical innovations, and I can refer again to our courses. Please just listen to those. But what we do see here is, that it is much faster. It's happening much faster than anything else, because now we do have the internet and fast internet and this and that. But what will really make a huge difference, what we never had before, is the smartphone gadgets, where in countries, in areas, in continents, even in Africa, in the case of Africa, most of the people do not have proper, I don't even know how to define our proper banking, you know, institutions, where we can find out that most or a lot of them are also corrupt, you know, mismanaging your money and leaving just false pretenses that you do not even own your own money. They do own it, and they do, you know what, a kind of favor to you to give back to, I mean, your own money if you want, and they are sitting on it on days. So business transactions, this time is over, ladies and gentlemen. It's coming. With Dash, I can send you in really instantly money to anywhere in the world. Now you can see that why they are scared. So the manipulation, and it is a very long answer, I know, but just we have to go to the very roots of blockchain and the different cryptocurrencies. And again, I completely agree with anybody who would say that most of them and these ICOs and other useless cryptocurrencies will go out, you know, will go down under or something. I mean, so they won't be available a few years ago. And so what? The cream will come up to the top, and those ones we have to focus on. And Crypto Cash Nation, with me, with others, will do our best to kind of direct your attention, you know, to those quality ones, those coins and currencies that will have the best survival probability. But because Bitcoin is not going anywhere from here. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Any more questions? Okay, Crypto Z, welcome. Super duper fantastic. It looks like you killed it. We don't have any more. Doesn't look like we have any more questions. So, guys, what I'll do is I'll put this into an archived recording for you. It will be in the back of the community tool chest by probably about dinner time tonight. And make sure that you send this out to all of your people, because it's a really, really important piece for people to have that 10,000-foot view of the where and why we're going from a cooperative point of view, but is be based on, you know, what the potentials are in the market. So with that, I bid you adieu. Thank you again for this special time with you, Crypto Z. It's been awesome. And if you're a premium member, get your Slack going, and make sure you're in that Slack room, because there's a lot of value that's in there all the time. And there'll be 3 more chapters in course 3 coming to you this week. We thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Russ. Thanks, Crypto.
Peace and blessings, everyone.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of you.